Hey friends, Sheree here. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be pressure canning some white onions. This is a part of the Azure Standard haul that I shared in a recent video. I will link to that in the description box if you did not see that. But I'm preserving a lot of different things that I purchased during that haul, including these onions. And so you should have seen a video already that just talks about the different ways that I preserve the onions. I decided to go ahead and record separate videos of the different processes that I did to preserve the onions in case anyone wants to go a little bit more in depth. So we're going to do, like I said, onions today. I have already diced these just using my little, onion or vegetable dicing tool. So they're all pretty much, similar size. My canning jar is ready. I decided to go with the wide mouth jars for these onions because I'm basically pressure canning these to have them preserved, ready to dump into like beans or soups or anything like that where I just, want to do some quick additions. It's just easy to get them out of the wide mouth jars. And plus, I just have a lot of wide mouth jars and a lot of wide mouth lids, so I'm going to put those to use. I do have some regular mouth jars on the ready in case I have extra chopped onions. I can do a second round of the pressure canning, or I might do something else with them. We'll see. But I'm going to be using my electric canner for these because I have other things going on and I don't want to have to stand over the stove. So with this one, you do have to pop by periodically, but it does kind of beep to let you know when it's time to come back to do, to push a button or whatever. So that's what I'm going to use. This will give me a long chunk of time where I don't have to, be checking on it and making sure it is maintaining its pressure because it will do so automatically. And I don't have an open flame, going on the stove when I'm not standing around it. So I do like using this digital pressure canner quite a bit. I use it for a lot of different vegetables. I also use it for water bath canning. And I've pressure canned fish, I've pressure canned meat, though I do like to do the meat and the fish on the stovetop as well. So anyway, that's enough talking. Let's just get the jars filled. First, I'm going to get the water in here, and so I can get that started so the water can start heating up. I'm going to rerun my jars, just fill them with hot water and have them sitting and waiting. Though that is no longer a required step, it's still something that I personally like to do. And I will be boiling some water and pouring that over my lids and letting them just rest and be ready as well as the machine gets up to temperature. So I have 3 quarts of water in here. No matter how many jars you're pressure canning, you always have to have 3 quarts of water in this particular Presto digital pressure canner, which is their little lines. You can see the top 2. The 3 quart line is at that the bottom one, and that's where I have it filled to. And then if you look here, this is the manual. Always follow the manual. Read your manual. Don't just rely on what I'm saying here. In this video, read your manual thoroughly. It will have all the information that you need to be successful at this. But it does, I just wanted to show you here how the maximum mason jar capacity. And so it says here for wide mouth jars, I can do 7 pints. And that's what I have. I have actually 6 prepared. But anyway, just wanted to share that though, just in case you wanted to know about the capacity of this particular 12 quart electric digital canner from Presto. Okay, so it takes 40 minutes to pressure can onions. And so with this digital canner, if you want to pressure can, which I do want to do, I'm going to just hit the enter button. If you were doing water bath canning, you would just turn the dial until you got to water bath can and then push. And now what I'm going to do is dial up to 40 minutes here because that's how long onions take to pressure can. Some things only take 10 minutes. Some things, when I do beans, I think beans are like 70 minutes for a pint, maybe more. But like I said, the manual will has recipes in it, and it will give you the times, and it'll tell you how to fill your jars if you're raw packing or if you are, you know, packing cooked food. This is going to be raw packed. I have not cooked these onions. All I did was peel them, clean them, dice them, and then rinse them again. So I'm gonna get the lid on here and push start. And this is going to actually before I do that, I gotta put the jars inside first. So give me a second. Okay, so I have 5 jars in here, and while this is heating up, you also sanitize your jars simultaneously. So you about halfway fill your jars and then place them on the rack, no lids on them. And then remember, I have my 3 quarts of water in the body of this thing. And then just gonna put the lid on. And then just, you know, close that down. And then I'm gonna hit start. And it's telling me to insert the jars, which I already have. And you can see here it's gonna start to warm up. And it's basically gonna do kind of a countdown with those bars. And when, you know, there are no more bars, that means that it is heated to the correct temperature, and it will beep, it will signal for me to come back. So during this time, you know, sometimes I'm still chopping things, getting stuff ready, but typically I do like to have like my food prepared. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a pot of water on that I'm going to use to fill the jars after I get the onions inside of them. I'll get my salt over here because I'm going to put in a little bit of salt in these. And I'm going to get water boiling to sterilize my lids, which again, they say is not required, but I just still do it out of habit. All right, so I have my water boiling that I'm going to be adding to the jar. The canner is prompting me to fill my jars. So I'm going to get those out, get those filled with the onions and salt, and I'll show you what they look like before they go into the canner. Okay, so I have the onions in my jars, and I have some salt added. And I'm just gonna proceed to get these covered with the hot water. If you wanted to already have more flavor, you could use some kind of broth, vegetable broth, beef broth, chicken broth, onion broth. All right, I'm just doing these as things that I will add to soups that already have broth. I might do some more later with maybe vegetable broth or something, but you have options. So now I'm gonna get a little tool to just get these pressed down to kind of debubble. And I'm gonna get my lids on. I do wipe my lids with clear vinegar, and I'm gonna wipe the rim of the jars with some clear vinegar, and then I will attach the jars. And then I will attach the lids to the jars. All right, so my jars are loaded. I decided to do 2 batches because I still have plenty of onions left. So I'll do the remaining 4 jars in the second batch. But we're gonna go ahead and get the lid on, and I'm simply gonna hit the start button, and this is gonna start the pressure canning process. Okay, so the lid is closed. The pressure valve is off. The machine is going to alert me when it's time to put that on. And I'm simply going to push this button, and it's going to start heating. So it's going to take its time and heat up to the temperature that it needs to be at. And then it's going to give me an alert when it's ready for the next step. Okay, so it's signaling me to put the regulator on. It has reached temperature, so I'm going to do that. And you want to make sure that it is pointed towards canning and not venting. So it has 4 different options for that. And now I've pushed this button again just to signal that I have done that, and now it's going to start the pressure canning process. It has to come up to pressure, and when it's reached its pressure, then that 40 minutes is going to start to count down. Okay. You're also going to see up here, you're going to be venting, and then once it's reached pressure, this little silver thing, there's a nodule that's going to actually pop out. So you can see here that little metal piece has popped up now, and the screen is telling me that it is canning, and it went from 40 minutes to 37 minutes. And so now it's going to do its thing for 37 minutes, and it's going to let me know when it's done. So the canning process is done, and now it's cooling, and it's letting me know that's what's happening now. Okay, so you can see here it cooled down enough. That pressure valve dropped, and then here it's in this final countdown. So it cools down, and then it's either a 10 or 15 minute countdown. I can't remember. I didn't catch it right at the beginning, but that number will decrease, and when it hits 0, it's gonna beep for me. Okay, so the cycle is done. It has already vented on its own, so I don't need to turn it to vent. And then now you simply, so that's your cue that it is depressurized. That has, popped back down, otherwise you wouldn't be able to open it. There are my jars. I'm gonna get these out and placed on my canning mat. Okay, and here's what the jars look like fresh out of the canner. It has cooled down, but you can see here there's still a little cooking going on there. So I'm gonna let these cool down and settle. I heard one, yep, you can see back here, one lid has already popped. It was very hot, but the other one is still poking up. So as they cool down, I should hear the little pop that signifies that the lids have sealed, but we need to let these rest for 24 to 48 hours and then check the seal. And in the meantime, I'm going to get the next batch going and add those to the canning mat. I just want to show you all, it didn't take long for the other tops to make that pop sound, which signifies that they have sealed. You can see the little bubble area is now flat. The jars are still quite warm, but cooled down enough to seal. And as I said, I'm doing round 2 of this, so I have the whole canner reset with fresh water, and the jars are inside now, warming up, so that I can, empty that water out, get the onions put inside with some fresh boiling water, a little salt, and I'm just going to repeat that process again, and I'll show you what everything looks like tomorrow once they have cooled down to room temperature. All right, friends, so it's the next day, and here are the onions. They are all cooled down. I have 8 pint-sized jars with wide mouth openings, so it's easy to just kind of dump them into soups. And so, yeah, I'm excited to have those on the shelf. They need to sit till this evening, and then I'll remove the bands. I'll get them labeled and dated, and on the pantry shelf they will go.